So the mid-length spree has seemingly not come to an end. It could just be beginning. What is going on, guys? This is Travis. Thanks again for coming back for another Hero's Journey live stream. If you could please do me a favor, smash that like button, hit subscribe, hit that little bell, and I appreciate everyone for tuning in. We have a little goal going on. If you feel like super chatting, you will be the official sponsor of this video. And yes, this could even be an after the fact thing. If you feel like that, I'll make you the sponsor of the next video. So today I opened up my email and I saw a brand new surfboard that I didn't know was coming. I actually have a little bit of an awareness of another board that I've kind of seen in the mix. Maybe this got renamed, I'm not sure, but this is a brand new board from the Firewire, and it is the TJ Twinzer. And essentially, to me, it looks a lot like a long rider. Let's keep it PG here, guys. Don't get any weird things here. But it has a completely different fin setup, and I think actually a better fin setup. It's kind of like a Bonzer, which is essentially, if you remember the biscuit Bonzer. And I look great and I sound great for my little hacky sound check here, but the biscuit Bonzer, let me bring that up really quick, was kind of like a Campbell Brothers Rob collab. It might have even been, yeah, it was an Al Merrick board. So I actually had this board at one point. Spoiler alert, it didn't really work that great for me. Now the Bonzer is different than the Twinzer because the Bonzer is more so one big fin, a longboard-esque fin, and then four little side bites. Where the Twinzer we're looking at here, and that isn't it in the background. Another spoiler alert, I don't have my hands on it, but I could at some point. But I'm going to give my estimations how this board is going to ride and if I think it is for you or not, because I think this board is going to be very unique. But why it's not a Bonzer is because instead of that big back fin, it doesn't have the back fin. It actually has the twin fins and then the two side bites. So I think that fin setup for my style of riding is actually a lot more ideal. I prefer, if the board is going to be like smaller than 9 foot, not having that super large back longboard fin. The longboard fin, essentially what it does is it helps you get up and go and drive down the line. What it doesn't do the best is a lot of pivoting. And that's because you have a straight long fin down the back of the board. Now, you can do like a push pivot, but you can't really do like the quick drawn out pivot, aka pocket surfing. Now, with the twin fin, as long as the fins are upright enough, you can kind of do a little bit of pocket surfing. But in the end, the best way to do pocket surfing is to have a little small trailer fin and then something on the side as well. Something's holding that back of the board together. What I think the Twinzer is kind of excelling at and will excel at is in the pocket surfing, but with a little bit of release when you want. So essentially, it's taking a twin fin and then adding a little more hold without adding the back fin. So instead of a 2+1, it's kind of like a 2+2, except the extra two fins are little mini side bites. So if you want to type it into the Googles, type in TJ Twinzer and you can see it right now. But again, this board just done dropped, and it still is maybe on pre-release. I know it's in some surf shops, like Clean Line Surf, affiliate link down below, and that's much appreciated. If anyone helps with clicking my links, helps the show run. I've heard, all the YouTubers talk about it, but it does mean a lot because, that helps, put the money in our pockets to keep producing the shows, because these expensive gadgets, like the Apple mouse, aren't necessarily free, and the stream doesn't run on air, so it's always appreciated. But what I think is really cool about the TJ Twinzer, like for someone like me, where it's I love twin fins now. I'm a twin fin addict, a twin fin convert. But, even with the best twin fins, there's always like a little bit of that looseness that you can never get. And then you have to do the 2+1 thing. But when you go the Twinzer route, it kind of adds like a little more stability to each side. And Taylor was talking about it in the promo video for the video. His favorite move to do on the Twinzer is like a roundhouse. And then when you're coming back up to hit the lip, you like tweak out the board a little more as you hit the lip. Kind of like you're doing a roundhouse. You come around, and then when you, as opposed to going up and hitting it and coming down, you roundhouse and you kind of like push it out the end and then come around. Now with the normal twin fin, you can kind of do that, which I noticed the Revo Max did that pretty well, where you do the roundhouse and you could kind of like push it a little bit at the end. So it's kind of similar to what Taylor was saying, where he likes to do the roundhouse on this new board, come up, and then right before the end, push it a little bit, and then kind of hit it at the same time. So I think that's pretty cool because it adds like a unique flavor to like a mid-length twin fin. Now, when you're looking at this board, essentially it's kind of like taking the Long Rider, the Sunday, a couple of these recent boards by Firewire. But it has some of Stu Kenson's kind of signature-esque in it. Also with a new fins they're dropping in the board that they're calling the, let me bring it up here, the Stu Kenson Twinzer fin set. So I don't think this was out before this, but essentially like all the new Firewire boards right now, this Twinzer board by Firewire has a dedicated fin set with the board. And from their last couple releases, I would always suggest to get the fins with the board, because so far all the fins in each of these new releases have worked the best with each of the boards. It's funny because looking back, they did it with some, like the Mashup didn't really get a fin release with it. The Seaside did. The Machado Cotto did. The Sweet Potato didn't really. So it's almost like maybe certain shapers or just certain shapes, it's easier to kind of finagle it in there. Because from a marketing standpoint, it's a great move. Like it eliminates one more decision at the very end, and it just gives you something that is going to at least work as a baseline. And then if you want to experiment more, you can. Now, with the Stu Kenson Twinzer fin set, if you type this into the Googles, they have it on their website now too. It's pretty much like some pretty upright twins. And then the little nubs, to me, are like back in the day, there used to be this rusty C5 surfboard. And it was my first like real surfboard besides like a big gnarly board. This was like an actual surfboard, and I have a picture of me in the snow in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Shout out, snowing there right now. But it's a similar thing where the rusty C5, it kind of is weird because it has 5 fins, but the 2 side bites are a lot like the Twinzer. They're right next to the 2 side fins. And what Taylor was explaining in his video is what those little 2 nubs do is they kind of, when the water's coming down the board to hit this twin fin, it's going to hit the little nubster first. So it kind of like displaces the water a little bit. So it makes the actual twin fin not have to do as much work and not have to like bite as hard because it has a little bit of help. So what I'm foreshadowing, not have to do as much work and not have to like bite as hard because it has a little bit of help. So what I'm foreshadowing this ride to be like is kind of like riding a twin fin, but the most upright, stiff twin fins possible. I mean, it'd be fun to kind of test even like the biggest, gnarliest NVS album twin fin, throw that in the Twinzer versus Stu's like his new fin setup, or sorry, Stu Kenson, not Stu Kenson's fin setup, and like which would do better, because I think he's taken a little bit away from the side fins. Like, they do look pretty upright, but they're not like ginormous. So, and he's claiming in the thing that so he did design this fin specifically for this board, but he's saying this has been his go-to Twinzer setup for some time. Clean bounce curves, just the right amount of base, rake, and front canyard fin to complement with the rear fins. And he actually uses a bunch of Twinzers, and he uses it on his smaller fishes and even his longboards. Now what's funny is like these two little side fins, they kind of like, they're basically new fin slots that are compatible with Future's fin system. So if there's another little side bite you want to try, it could be out there, but like it's not. This board's so unique. I think this makes the most sense to get these fins that come with it, because like now you're entering this not new board setup, but new for the modern ages, because Twinzers were kind of like an older school method. I'm just gonna look up the history really quick, but it kind of has been somewhat forgotten, even because, like, in my opinion, when I rode the Biscuit Bonzer, which it's not too similar, but it actually kind of is, but it just has so much fin going on. To me, I never clicked. I never really liked it. Very drivey and holding. Now it's kind of like probably has a similar surface area because you have two nubs on each side and a big middle fin, as opposed to two big fins, two nubs. So the Twinzer, I think why it got forgotten, because I think the quad fins took over, and quad fins weren't really that popular in the 90s. I mean, the quad fin setup, when was that even invented? I'm not sure, but I think quads are, yeah, this says 2010s. So, quads were never really around that much. And twin fins are really even here before a thruster. So it makes sense that the Twinzer board, has more of a history than even the quad or even the regular thruster. Now, who knows why and how Simon Anderson was the first one to be like, we should take the longboard concept or the twin fin concept and put them all together. Hindsight's always 2020, but you would think you would look back in time and be like, well, isn't the thruster like the most logical fin setup? I mean, you just take three fins that are similar size, you put them in each area, so it's three. Like, it almost visually and logically kind of makes the most sense there. Or even like the twin fin setup, makes a lot of sense. Or the single fin setup. So I guess it was like kind of whatever came first, the chicken or the egg. But really, it's funny how, like, I think maybe it's because they started adding more and more fins, and now obviously a lot of boards come with the 5-fin setup. Not that you're supposed to use 5 fins, but there's so much versatility now with the fins you can use that a lot of surfboard manufacturers, they want to put it a little more in your hands, because you might have preferences, likes, dislikes, and they don't want to alienate you by not having a certain fin setup. So before we continue on, if everyone can smash that like, I appreciate it. Hit subscribe. And we have a message from Scott Guthrie. If I butcher your name, sorry, Scott. Hello there. I'll give you the German hello. Hallo. The tail is a rounded pin, so it's very similar to the Sunday and or the Long Rider. If you look at the board, I mean, I guess I can drop the link. I'll drop the link in the chat. if you guys want to check it out. Let me see. Bring this up. So here it is in the chat. Will that even work? Let's see. If I click that, what happens? Okay. Yeah, so if you click this link right now, it'll pop up on your browser. But to me, the tail looks a lot like a Sunday. I'm just gonna compare it right now to the general shape. It seems a little thinner, but actually now looking at it even more, it looks a lot like the Sunday. I'm gonna look at the specs, but it actually is more refined and not as beastly as the Sunday. It's kind of between the volume of the Sunday and the Seaside and Beyond. Like the 7-foot is 48 liters, which is 3 more liters than the Seaside and Beyond, but it is, 5 to 6 liters less than the Sunday. But compared to the Long Rider, which I feel like that sounds like a board that Clint Eastwood would ride, I think it's a little closer in specs because the 7.0 on the Long Rider is 46 liters and the 7.0 on the Taylor Jensen Twinzer is 48.8 liters. So it is interesting how Firewire seems to have a very similar shape in these rounded penny mid-lengths. The Varga board, which is my sacred longboard, even though it's an 8-foot board, I wouldn't consider it a longboard. I mean, it's a longboard, but depending on who's asking, I could say it's a mid-length to fit in and be cool. I could say it's a longboard if I'm surfing Malibu. I could just be like it's my step-up board if I'm surfing like Sunset Cliffs up. Don't cancel me, bro. So I think oh, Scott, you're popping up on my thing here. Let me answer you really quick. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think it's actually the coolest shape too. I would say that this mid-length from all the ones they released lately, maybe besides the Sunday, I'm most interested in. But let me kind of reiterate though, like I haven't ridden a Twinzer, I don't think. Trying to think back of Australia if I did or not. There might have been like almost like a knee board or something that I rode that had the little side bites. But I think what this board is going to be great for is someone who wants the mid-length, but maybe you're not like super advanced yet. Potentially you're still in the learning, or like you're past beginner, you're intermediate, and you're coming down from the wave swimmer longboard. Because what's going to be great about those little nubs is they're going to give you the extra hold that you're going to need once you step up to this bigger board with the twin fin. Because the normal Sunday was kind of like the Bonzer. It had a large center fin and then 2 side fins. Now it's still kind of different, but the concept is the same. If the back fin is large and then the side fins are medium or small, the board's going to be better at driving down the line and plowing through Shout Out Angry Snowboard or chop and chunder of the waves. You're going to plow through chop and chunder of the whitewater and wave. Nothing's going to stop because you have essentially like an anchor on the back of your board. A twin fin like the Sunday, if you don't have the back fin and just the fins, once you enter chop and chunder land, there's no stability in the back of the board right here. So you're just going to start like wobbling. And if you're not skilled enough, that wobbling is going to just throw you over. If you are skilled enough, you can kind of ride out the wobbling and it ends up being like kind of fun. But again, it's still not going to hold into the wave as much. But the Twinzer, it melds both of those because now you have the twin fin and you have that like speed, but those little nubs do help you drive through chop and chunder a little more than if they weren't there. So I think the board is going to be like kind of a hit. But I am a little skeptical just because I think the Twinzer itself is a little nuanced and a little what's the word? Not hinge, but you're out of the scope of normal. Like you don't see lots of Twinzers. This is almost like a resurgence, a rebirth of the phoenix, if you will. But it's overdue because I think now that Firewire literally dropped like 5 new boards that are 6'8" and above in the last 6 months. They have this, the Long Rider, then Taylor's new longboards. Like they're realizing now the market has shifted. Now there's a demand for mid-lengths, and it's a popular demand, and it's like the new cool kid at school who's all the girls want him. He's like a bad boy, maybe he has like a Harley, and now he's new, he's mysterious. Like everyone wants a piece of bad boy Billy. But what they don't know is that he has a history like the Twinzer, and can be dangerous if you're not careful. So you gotta hide your wife, hide your kids, because it could be lethal. So the Twinzer to me, and what Taylor was explaining, there's a new video. If you do go to the Firewire site and check out the video promoting it, he's riding it in like big waves and somewhat critical waves too. I think there's a few clips at Trestles, at Swami's, I believe, at the Cardiff area, at Oceanside. So that's where the Twinzer, it's going to excel, because you're going to be able to like do okay on those bigger waves due to the bigger board. And then like the flat spots and a lot of so like say Oceanside, California, where Kate Simmers is from, shout out, world champ. That wave is like kind of top to bottom. It's kind of crazy. It's a beach break. It's like Cape Hatteras or something. It's like top to bottom. It's like a shortboard wave. So when it's smaller though, having like a longboard that can pivot a lot and do well, the Twinzer's going to do great there. And he was even saying that in the video. But then if you go down the street and you go to Cardiff Reef, it's going to be a slow kind of fat wave with good sections, but some flat areas in between. And that's where a board like the Twinzer is going to shine, because you're going to have enough float and glide over the flat spots. But then when it's time to get performance-y in the pocket, it's going to have the hold with the nubs, but the speed and the agility of the twin fin to be able to kind of like go top to bottom, spray, come down, and then get back into that flat spot. So like, a quad isn't going to do that as well, and a tri-fin isn't going to do that as well. Like the twin fin really is ideal for those clean, long wave conditions. And then when you add those little nubs, it adds just a little bit of stability, which I think intermediates are going to appreciate. Because there's a learning curve to twin fins. So like for me, I stayed away for a long time. I used to think that like all twin fins have the skatey feel. And I like surfing in the pocket. So for me, like the twin fin didn't make any sense, because like you're skating, you're sliding, and that's even after a few weeks now on the two fish has really taught me, after now riding twin fins more so for the last 3 to 4 years, the two fish is like going back in time to where like twin fins were skatey, slidey machines. And you do have to adapt your surfing to what a twin fin is. But most people, when you're still getting better and intermediate and edging your way along to your advanced stage, it's too like nuanced and out rides and somewhat unpredictable and slidey. So it's always good to have, some kind of hold coming from somewhere. So I'm going to read a little more about the board here, because I think it is, they've been dropping this heat with Taylor, and I don't think he gets enough credit. I mean, for winning all these longboard championships, I mean, he's like kind of become the Kelly Slater of longboarding. So it's pretty cool. They're giving him like a lot of shine and a lot of models lately that I think are getting kind of underlooked because he's. I don't think he's really a household name, like unless you're in the longboard community or you're core lord, you probably don't know who Taylor Jensen is. Excuse me. So let's read about the Twinzer and see what he has to say. So Firewire is saying, meet the Taylor Jensen Twinzer. It's a collab between Stu Kenson and him. And it's an iconic design from the San Diego Shaper, which that is where Stu Kenson shapes and is from. And they're claiming it's like a thruster, but enhanced and better transitions and more turns in the iconic Twinzer. And that's kind of what I was explaining earlier about how the twin fin naturally lacks pivot and lacks hold. But the Twinzer kind of takes the best of the thruster design and the twin fin design and blends them. And instead of a 2+1, you're doing 2 plus mini 2, and it's kind of working similar. But if you think about it, it could work better because it's kind of like the Revo Max, where the channels are acting as a fin, and it's creating like hold where the board usually wouldn't have hold, but it's not a hold that's going 6 inches in the water. It's going, that far in the water. So they're saying about 10 to 12 years ago, he made some changes. All right. So back when twins were known to offer more speed and maneuverability than single fins, like I was saying earlier, you go faster, there's less hold, but you're not going to plow through chop and chunder. So twins were kind of the foundation that became the thruster. So essentially they took the longboard middle back fin, the twin fins, and made the thruster. When Stu watched Martin Potter on a Twinzer that day at lower trestles, this is a little bit of a weird, it's some weird text, or it's not written correctly. A Twinzer. He's calling a Twinzer a twin fin, I guess. So Martin Potter, was one of the twin fin goats, and he was serving lower trestles. And what Stu saw was the Twinzer had potential to become a solid innovation to the thruster set. But I do think a Twinzer did come out pretty much right after, or kind of not that far after, the twin fin and then the thruster, but it just got overlooked for a little bit there because it wasn't as cool or something. But so before we get into that, we have some comments. Here we go. Oh yeah, Surf Dog says he's seen the NVS has the Stu Kenson Twinzer fins. Oh, you know what? I saw that too, actually. I'm gonna look that up right now. Yeah, you're right. I think these have been out though for a while. Oh yeah, okay. SK, yeah, the SK logo. I actually saw one of these at one of my surf spots the other day, sitting on the side of a railing, and I was like, oh, there's a free fin right there. Expensive free fin. But yeah, so they have the nubs on NVS. Yeah, so if you wanted to go the NVS route with this, that'd be sick. I'm an NVS fanboy. I'm actually also supported by them a little bit. They help me out, so big fan of NVS, and the guys who run it are super cool and super smart and good surfers. So I think that's awesome. New Yeats Who Cares says quad heel side, Twinzer toe side. Confused. I think it's the same. It's the same on both sides. So it ends up being kind of like a quad, but the two side bites. If you click the link above, New Yeats. Oh, the chat might have disappeared. Oh, it's right there. The Firewire Surfboards link. You can see a picture because it's actually the two little fins next to it. So it's like a quad, but two super small fins. But the fins are really close together. It's not spread out. It's almost kind of like they could have almost made like an indention with the fins connected and put them in, because it's probably only like this much space between the one fin and the other fin. They're very close, but they're probably only 1/4 as big, the two side fins. So, you know, I would think the board would actually ride more like a twin fin than a quad. Especially because if you look at I'm looking it up now. If you look at where the two side fins are, the bigger side fins, they're like not super far up there, but they're far enough. Whereas like on a quad, they would probably be a little more in, and then yeah, they're kind of like pretty much where the twin fin should be and would be. I think Stu was explaining that when I was watching some videos prepping for the stream, was that it's pretty much like just adding a little bit of hold with the twin fin, and like you can't really you can't add hold any other way besides making the fin a little different or adding the back trailer fin right there like a little fin. So they could have put a fin slot there, I guess, but then it would have made, the whole design somewhat redundant. And I am a big fan of when, Firewire lately, even though the 5-fin design is always nice, it is cool when they give you the best design, kind of like the Seaside. Now, I would always, I'd want the Seaside to be just a tri-fin, like a 2+1 for sure. But you can respect when the shaper and the company wants to produce the board how they know it's going to ride the best. And if they know it's going to ride the best as a quad, hence the Seaside's going to be a quad. So I think this is pretty cool how they said, F it, we're going for it. We're doing Twinzer. And if you don't like it, you can kick rocks. Because I think Firewire is in a good spot now where they can come out with boards. I mean, we've seen it the last couple of years. They'll come out with the board and kind of almost see what happens, like the Glazer or something. And then if it doesn't do that well, it can kind of just go away. And then a new board could come could be kind of similar, almost like a rebranding of the shape a little bit, but with little tweaks here and there that they think could enhance it or get better sale value, or just kind of get feedback from customers and just years of probably reading reviews and kind of making a assumption about, all right, this board, like the Glazer, what I've heard is that's a sick board, but maybe it's a little under volumed. Look that up, Glazer. Like this board even kind of looks like the Glazer. It's the pointy rounded pin, the kind of pointy but rounded nose. But with the Glazer, I'm trying to find the dims right now. The Glazer dims, if I remember right, it was pretty volume, but for some reason, I think people were saying it doesn't grovel as good as they thought it would. I'm looking at I forget his name, Surfboard review guy, and he's showing me the dims right here. And yeah, so the 510 is 38.6 liters of the Glazer. So actually, to me, it seems like they beefed it up, and so what probably happened with the Glazer is people sized down at the wazoo, and then they might have ran into the same problem that the mashup or even the Sunday happens. You size down to your appropriate volume, which again I think is all witchcraft, and I always disagree with it. And then you get on the board, and it's like it doesn't perform how you anticipate it because you're on a 5.2. And even if it has enough volume, it could feel like you're riding a bodyboard. Shout out one of my commenters the other day was saying, he rode, I think, the 5.8 sweet potato, maybe even the 5.6. And he was saying that paddling on it, it just felt too much like a bodyboard. That's why he actually preferred to have it longer and bigger, just because even though it's super floaty, when you go so short on a board and compressed, it can be a little bodyboardy. If you go longer, it can handle the volume a little better just because it's even though you're upping the volume, it still is more surface area. And there is a point where, humans are a natural size, and, our weight's going to be on the board from our groin area to here. So like the longer the board is, the more this compressed weight can get on the board. And quick side notes, I'm wearing combating gear. I got my Waco surf sweatshirt and then my Surf Ranch beanie. So we can need to do a little side quest. What do you guys prefer? KS wave or the Waco wave? Because this is gonna be a heated, quick debate. And I know my winner, and you guys aren't gonna like it. But for me, the winner is the Kelly Slater wave. Somehow Kelly Slater uses his wizardry, another board, the wizard sleeve, that kind of went away. The Kelly Slater wave came out before a lot of these other waves came out. And right out the rip, he made the best wave. I think it's still the best wave. Now, it's not the most monetizable, and it's not the easiest to surf, and it's not the most, I don't even want to say sustainable, but it only sends one wave every 4 minutes. And there's like a reset period, and there's 10 people in the water, and only one wave every 4 minutes. So it's a little bit of a wait. You're kind of, laying there. Where Lemoore is positioned, the water gets cold. I mean, the water gets in the 40s, so does Waco, but like the Kelly Slater wave versus the Waco wave is awesome. Like, I'm not trying to hate, but it's way shorter than you would think before you surfed it. And then it's a lot less critical, and a lot less like movement of water and like power going on. The Kelly wave is like you're surfing behind the rocks at Snapper Rocks for a whole wave. And if you've ever surfed behind the rocks at Superbank, that drop in behind the rock and like that one area is critical, and there's no room for error. That's how the Kelly Slater wave is. There's no room for error. On the Waco wave, there's a little bit more room for error, but the wave's also very short. That kind of by the time you messed up, the wave, could be over at that point. So if you had any wave to surf, you'd probably pick the Kelly wave, unless you're just not skilled enough, because it takes some skill for sure. All right, so we got Mark Ellerman chiming in. He says the Waco looks amazing. Kelly's pool looks stressful. That one wave every 4 minutes would make me safety surf each wave. Correcto, Mark. It would be like the Superbank at Kelly's wave as well, and everyone down the line hoping you fall off as well. Yeah, there is a little bit of that. I mean, usually the Kelly wave is like, it's so expensive. Like when I got to surf it, it was with a group. Shout out Surf Park Central. So like a lot of times you kind of do, I mean, probably in like the deepest, darkest pits of your soul, hope the person falls. But a lot of times, like, it's your friend or someone and like you kind of are rooting them on. There's so much adrenaline, and your wave's coming that you probably are like, oh, I hope he falls, but like you're like, yeah, go. Where the Waco wave, it's a lot less like that. But both waves you can poach, but the Kelly and poach, I mean, you wait for someone to fall, and if they fall and you're closest to the wave, it's kind of like in the real ocean. You now have the inside, you can go if someone falls. So the Kelly wave, you can actually surf a lot more than you signed up for, just by being agile, being ready. And the wave's so long that some people do fall, and it's like, oh, well, I'm going to go, and you go. But you do tend to safety surf it a little more than Waco, because yes, you have your time, and then you're going to get back in the line, and it's like, it could be 20 minutes till you catch another wave. In my experience, I was able to poach a bunch, or I got tons of waves. I do have videos on my YouTube channel. You can check it out. Let's see if I can find it really quick. Where you can watch me surfing the, oh, here we go. watch me surfing the Kelly wave, and I'll post it in the chat right now. But I'm super, super blessed and grateful because obviously, like, you can't, like, it costs, I mean, it's a obscene amount of money. And I can't remember what it is. It might be 20 grand a day or like $800 a wave or something. It ends up being kind of like heli skiing or heli snowboarding, but even more expensive. So a lot of people that surf there, you're either a celebrity or you got an in, or like it's a group buyout thing and you buy out the whole place for the day with a company or something. So for all those business models, it actually works great. And you can do a similar thing with the Waco, but they don't have to do that at Waco because people will just buy sessions still. Um, but and I did get to surf it with Shane Beshin, and I was super stoked because um, I feel like I'm almost better at backside surfing than frontside surfing. And Shane was like, Travis, man, you were like the backside master on that thing. And it kind of like made my year when he said that, because to have Shane Beshin tell you you're shredding backside is like, my ego like got 2 sizes bigger, like the Grinch's heart. So I was like really couldn't believe he said that, and I was super stoked because he was shredding obviously too. But yeah, so Mark says, after you surf a wave at Kelly's pool, do you have to walk back to the takeoff zone, or do they move people around on the jet skis? They move people around on the jet skis. Yeah. So essentially, the guy follows you, and I got to meet a super cool waterman, which shout out, like, we're still buddies, and they got like a serious sick crew there. Like the people running the show there are all legit, and hospitality's amazing. But yeah, so they kind of follow you on that jet ski. I don't know the exact why they're doing that. Maybe it's just to, like, if you fall and hit your head and there's someone right there. None of the other places do that. But also what happens with that is that when you at the end of the wave, the jet ski, you get on the back like you're at Mavericks or something, and then he brings you back to essentially the end of the line, where then you kind of start waiting again. So that part's kind of cool because it's like you feel like you're not even paddling around that much. You kind of feel very pampered. So they probably, do the wave, the jet ski thing as well, just because it makes more sense for him to constantly be doing that and picking you up, as opposed to like being somewhere else and then, maybe just with how the pool is and for safety reasons. So it's awesome though. I mean, if any of y'all ever have a chance somehow, if you win the lottery or you're able to hop on, and to me it's kind of like heli snowboarding, which I got to do. And like before I did that, was like, oh, it's too expensive, I can't afford it. It ends up being like a bucket list item that now I'm really happy I did. And you don't remember that the money you saved, or you just remember the surfing down the white wave. And like heli snowboarding was the best powder snowboarding of my entire life, like by far. I did get lucky and get Mount Baldy really good, and got to meet Todd Richards in the parking lot, so that was sick. And that was the only other time, like, the powder, I mean, I've had other times for sure, but like it's powder that is untouched, and it's just like the craziest thing ever. That's kind of like what heli skiing is. So I would compare Kelly's pool to heli skiing. It's like this dream magical thing that costs a crap ton, but it ends up being like the extra wonder of the world. You're just like, oh, I can't believe you even made this, Kelly. So the fact that they made that before any of the technology was barely even out, and like you still look at it, and even like the brand newest perfect swells are sick, but it's like the Kelly wave is it's a beast. And it's cool too because there's actually like Kelly's wave is very mechanical, where there's certain spots where it'll kind of slow down, certain spots barrel, certain spots won't barrel, and there's markers along the side of the like train that indicate when it's going to barrel, when it's going to do this. And it actually is pretty difficult when you're surfing to look up and be like, all right, there's the red marker. It's going to barrel in 10 seconds. That part's tricky, and it takes some time to get used to that. But it's cool how the barrel's coming here, to not get barreled here. It's very fine tuned, and it's so long that even though it feels like you're kind of not milking it, you're kind of like not going ape on it because you don't want to fall and blow it. But like you're like, all right, the barrel's down there. Like I'm gonna wait a little bit, and like, oh, it's coming, and like you're gonna go for the barrel because it's coming. It is stressful, but like that it requires like you being a good surfer and being okay under pressure because you're waiting all this time, and it's like beep, the noise goes, it's like your turn and everyone's watching, and you're like, all right, well, I don't want to blow this. And catching the waves challenging. It's harder than Waco. um it's hard. So it's a work of art. It's an awesome thing. Mark says Kelly's pool looks to have a bigger wave on the videos. Being from Queensland, Kelly's pool looks like the Super Bank. Waco looks like Diva. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. And I mean, I like Diva more than the Super Bank. I mean, Diva is like, if I had to pick one wave to surf every day for the rest of my life, it'd be Diva or South Stratty, which is like Diva on crack. But yeah, Diva is the sickest wave ever. And yeah, Waco is a lot like Diva. It's shorter, it's quicker, it's top to bottom. Kelly's pool, it's like not really top to bottom. It's kind of like, yeah, it's like Superbank, which, it kind of is top to bottom, but it's more of like a hollow wave that you got to be careful doing turns on because it's almost too top to bottom. It's like a barrel. So yeah, exactly. And oh yeah, Kelly's wave, it's bigger for sure too. The wave itself is much bigger than Waco. I mean, I don't know the exact size, but when you're riding it's pretty intimidating. Like you're not just surfing like a Sunday surf on it. You're like, oh, it's game time. Like I'm behind the rocket snapper. Like this is intense. Um, yeah, Waco is a little more friendly and like not as intense, but especially serving Kelly's pool and then also Waco. Like Waco is done in a lickety split. I love Waco. It's awesome, but it's a quick wave, and you're like, oh wow, that was pretty quick. I mean, I know Palm Springs Surf Club, Tommy Surf's made a recent video where it's also a quick wave. So it's funny how, if you're from the East Coast, you're probably like, oh, it's a long wave, but if you're blessed to live in like a more of a wave rich area, and you get like super long waves, then it can seem quick. I remember coming back to where I live and surfing the first session after Waco and like catching a couple waves and being like, one of my home breaks is like better than Waco in terms of the waves way longer. And I really like surfing super long waves. So it's like hard to get you just need more real estate. And that's what Kelly's pool does. He's a giant thing to push his giant wave. Now, a lot of the new perfect swells, like the one in Brazil, and there's a few in Brazil, it's much longer, I think, and they have more of like the Kelly type of barrel. If you look at Rob Kelly's videos surfing it, I'll show you another Surf Ranch clip of me. This is a barrel, so I'll type it in here. But like the left's hard to get barrel for sure unless you're a backside barrel master, which admittedly I'm not. I'm better at right barrels, but even in the clip I just posted in the chat, I did poach the wave. So someone fell, and then it's like, all right, go. Like you got to go. And now watching the wave, actually, there are parts where it is friendlier to shred and stuff. And then, like I said, there's colored flags on the side that show you, all right, barrel's here. Like there are, now looking back at it, there are spots where it gets, like a friendly surfable wave between the meaty behind the rocks waves at like super bank. Oh, slub sign. We got Migsy. What up, brother? Migsy, how you doing, dude? How's your knee doing? We need a knee update. Not much, Migsy. We're talking about this new board, which, you know, now you're gonna have to get another board besides all your other boards. Your amazing quiver that's only beaten by Mike Raven by only a tiny smidge. But you actually probably beat him. You have more boards. But yeah, we're talking. Yep, afternoon. We're talking the Twinzer. It's the new Firewire shape. Which again, to me, it looks a lot like the Long Rider. I'm just gonna look at the Long Rider again one more time, if y'all want to even bring it up. Because the Long Rider, it has kind of that point. It's kind of flat. Oh, there might be a pretty big double concave in this new one, which is good because what I've noticed is that on the Two Fish, because of the super crazy single concave, like there's no hold. It's like Slide City. I mean, you just got to be on your A game. Yeah, Migsy is a second-hand board hoarder. Sounds like a boar, like one of the wild boars that live in y'all's jungles. Yeah, like it's, you know, it's gonna be a new board, so you can't get a second-hand one yet, unfortunately. But like the Twinzer itself, like I'm gonna look up other Twinzers. Like if you look up new and used Twinzers on this one site, a lot of times they'll have like a swallowtail. A lot of times they'll be more of like a fish, more of like a performance-y shorter board, because a lot of times once you start going up in board length, it is nice to have, you know, a lot of people want the single fin. A lot of people want the twin fin. The Twinzer kind of came out, I think, around the time the twin fin came out, and it was more of a shreddy, shorter, you know, 6 foot, 7 foot board. But now they're definitely marketing it as more of a, I would say, a longboard replacement. And I love to see it because, you know, even 5 years ago when I was starting my mid-length, I mean, it's longer than that, but when I was starting my mid-length journey, you know, there were haters. You know, I did have to deal with the trolls. You know, I had to develop a thick skin to be able to ride my Varga board in Venice Beach. Well, actually, Venice Beach has a lot of longboard people. Trying to like El Porto is a good spot. Whereas, you know, 5 years ago, if you went to El Porto with your longboard, you know, you'd have to be shredding because that's a shortboard spot. Now the spots are all getting merged together, and you just want to have a board that you enjoy to ride, and now you can ride your mid-lengths, and now you're in the cool mid-length club. Because shout out, I did see, what's his name, surfing the other day. Famous mid-length guy, whoever anyone knows. Who's the most famous mid-length guy? Because I saw him, and I was like, oh, I want to surf like him. Oh, Devin Howard. So that's how I've always tried to, or I've actually tried to surf like that before I knew more about him. And it was more of growing up. I had a friend who was a longboarder, but he surfed his longboard like a giant shortboard. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like I want to surf a longboard like that. And now I do, you know, but a lot of that is to do with the fins. And that's where the mid-length's perfect, where you're taking the longboard that has capabilities to surf at like a shorter board. So Migsy says he's literally cooking my knee. He's doing like a witchcraft thing. So he's cooking his knee with infrared lasers and a TENS EMS machine. He had to buy the equipment for chronic rheumatoid arthritis. Oh, that sucks. That runs in his family. Really slowed him down with age. Minji, I'm really sorry. I meant to say Minji, but yeah, Migsy, I'm sorry, man. That really sucks. And for a while, I thought I had maybe rheumatoid arthritis, but I think it's just soreness. But rheumatoid arthritis, maybe you can jump into, but it actually is more of like a hereditary thing that just happens. It's not even necessarily caused by overuse. I'm sure that makes it come quicker. That's what she said. But you're not gonna get it necessarily just by overusing something. You're just gonna get normal arthritis or get sore. But that's rheumatoid's more so kind of like hereditary, and it's kind of a condition that's beyond just overuse. And it kind of sucks because you're gonna get it or you're not gonna get it a lot of times. Yeah, so Migsy said his left knee, the good one, the same knee he did with the Revo Max. Oh, it's a shame, dude. I'm still bummed about that. And also, so the quick update, like lately editing has been really hard because like I've just been working so much and editing so much. It's like sometimes when I sit down to edit, it's like I just don't want to do it at all. So I have the two fish fin comparison video. That's going to be like a banger. The problem is it's like a giant pain in the arse to edit. But I just finished the Tomo Keels part, and y'all are going to get a little spoiler alert. But long story short, Tomo Keels are actually a lot smaller than a lot of the other twin fins. And in the two fish, the Tomo Keels, you still have to watch the fin comparison. To me, they do not work like at all with the two fish. I mean, they work. You'll surf the board, but it's way too skatey and just no hold at all. Which was interesting is in the Revo Max, the Tomo Keels, I only had the mediums, and they had way more hold than the two fish and the large Revo Max. So I was perplexed, annoyed, and bummed because I anticipated the Revo Max fins being the winner, like for sure. I was going into this battle like, all right, Revo Max fins, you're the new best. You're my favorite fins ever. But then when they didn't work that good, I was sad, very sad. So Migsy says, my content and format is excellent with all capitals. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You're the celebrity. You're a celebrity. Like, you're the celebrity of the channel now. And he says, it hopes my channel blows up. Wow. That would be awesome. It would be awesome. That's the goal. You know, my goal is to be a professional YouTuber now. I mean, it's going to be, cringy to say this now because everyone wants to be like a content creator. But I remember young Travis making skateboard videos. Like, my goal was always to be a filmmaker. And now I am a filmmaker, but, the YouTube is like the future, obviously. I mean, it's the present, but like, we kind of saw essentially like Trump won because he went on YouTube podcasts. I mean, a lot went on there, but that was a big push to like why Trump won is because he went on YouTube podcasts as opposed to going on, kind of what the other person did with the celebrities and the news and the old way of doing it. So like people actually like YouTubers are now in this funny place where like they're the new like celebrities. Like there's always going to be like the Hollywood celebrity, but there's a lot of people don't care, and everyone knows it's like so fake now that you can actually resonate and be authentic with the YouTuber. And there's a lot of people that say you want to know about something. Well, you can go watch this channel or this thing, but like at the end of the day, you're going to go watch your favorite YouTuber to actually see the truth of what you want to believe because you trust the YouTuber more than this news network or more than this brand or more than this celebrity or more than this organization. Because the YouTuber, it's like just him or just her. And there's not like there's usually not this like crazy agenda backed by like humongous sponsors and And I think what's cool too with YouTube is like you'll notice a lot of YouTubers now, they want you to understand that like when we get sent stuff, like when I get sent, I'm just trying to find something like a new new AirBuds or something, or I get tons of random offers now where I have to kind of like pick and choose because I've gotten like bed offers and like phone cases and like headphones and like do a review on the blah blah. And like you kind of want to pick and choose because if you don't want to say yes to everything, but like at the same time, it is nice to have like a nice catalog of stuff. And if you need it, it is cool to get like a pair of headphones that if they're gonna work good, like sure. Um, but like now that new business model is everyone knows that like the YouTuber was sent the headphones and the company is usually not going to have a say in their review because that's just the new normal that's been established because then the YouTuber is going to lose credibility. So bottom line is like you can kind of trust the YouTubers more than corporations or brands or celebrities. Like YouTubers now are kind of like the last authority on a topic. And so and then people are realizing that now. I mean, it's like $1 billion industry. It's a couple billion. It's just growing and growing. So that's my old goal in life was to be like a film director and like maybe work in Hollywood and direct movies like Donnie Darko and Fight Club and like stuff. Be David Fincher 2.0. But now my new goal is it sucks, but now I got to be like looking at the camera. But now I'm used to it and I'm handsome enough where it's okay. I have like a groupies forming, but I have to be careful there because I got to stay focused. But that's the goal is to be like a YouTuber full time. I'm saying to the world, like that's the goal is because I think that's the most value I can actually provide in the world. And it's like, I can be motivated every day to work on YouTube. It's not like hard for me to be motivated. Sometimes it is hard to edit because editing, if any of you guys edit videos, for some reason, it's like writing your novel. The hardest part is to sit down and start writing that page. But once you start, it's a lot easier. But the sitting down to begin is the hardest part. Let's check in. We got some comments. So we have Migsy saying he's got... Migsy said, Mr. Nobody. Yep, Mr. Nobody. Tomo Finn sucks. I got to disagree, Migsy. Tomo Finn's rule. But only... So yeah, I'm going to wear an orange wig. Nice. We got Maisie coming to my house with an orange wig. Perfect. He can be a Trump personator. And Charles Hawk saying he knew it was coming out 4 months ago. Lulz. Oh, damn. I've been sleeping, huh? I've been sleeping. Well, you know what's funny is in certain countries, like I've noticed, like we'll get bored sooner than others. Like, what board was it? It might have been the Machado Cotto. But they'll be, especially if you like go demo a board, the Machado Cotto was being demoed months before it was released. Like even when I demoed it, and I actually kind of like accidentally revealed the Machado Cotto pretty much right when they were releasing it. And Chris Bro was like, he pretty much was like, "Hey, you spilled the beans on the Machado Cotto." I was like, "Oh, whoops, sorry." But like I knew the date it was releasing, and I didn't. It was unanticipated. But it all worked out because now I got it only helped my Firewire support with them kind of continue from the Machado Cotto thing. But yeah, that was out for months before. And then this board, the Twinzer, so I was at the Firewire factory and I think I saw it, but I think it was called another name. I don't want to say what it was called though, because it could be coming out the next board, but no, at the same time, no, I don't think actually, because I think this new board could be. I'm gonna stop right there. I thought this board I might have seen it, but it's actually another board that does look similar. So I don't know if they pivoted or if there is going to be two boards kind of like this coming out. But I would say just stay tuned because there could be more boards coming out. So Charles says, oh crap. Charles says, Oh, he has another mid coming out this year and a hull type longboard coming out this year as well. Wow, that's sweet. That's sweet. Um, and then he said, yeah, it might have been one of those I saw, but I don't want to say the person whose board I think it is, but they might have done some shifting around because the board looked a lot like this. And you're getting yours tomorrow. That's sick, dude. You're pulling the trigger. That's awesome, Charles. Um, yeah, we're all at the mid-length age, but I did sell my C7 Beyond, and I'm already feeling the hole in my heart. I need to refill it with some kind of pleasure or something. But we got to pause real quick because we just got our goal accomplished. Charles, you are the official sponsor of this stream. So I'll put that in the messaging later. But if you want me to tag your channel there, I can. But you've become the official sponsor. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. You get perks like I'll give you a little heart right there, and then I'll give you a shout out. You know, every 20 minutes I'll say, "Hey, Charles Hawk is the official sponsor." But no, much appreciated, man, because yeah, I've been attempting to get that goal on one of these streams, and you know, I get it. We all got to hold on to our shekels, but I appreciate you, man. So thank you, Charles. That will go to a nice, delicious latte or something from one of my local places. So appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Thank you. The official sponsor, Charles Hawk, and I love your name. So really quick, let me address some of these other questions that came in before the super chat. Thanks, Charles. Again, thank you very much. Mark saying Miggsy's right. Miggsy's always right. There's a lot of great guys in the board space, but I love the deep dives that come with longer form content. Well, thanks, dude. Thank you. Appreciate that. And that's why I like making this. I mean, my voice doesn't like it because it starts to get raspy and it's already starting, but like I like listening to 3-4 hour podcasts by anyone, by any kind of people. It doesn't matter the topic. Like a 15-minute video is great, but by the time it's over, like, oh, I gotta pick something else. It's like it's nice just to put something on and forget about it. So I know there's an audience for this, and that's why I like doing it. And you know, I want to suggest to others like Tommy Surfs, like you should do like live streams because this is the new it's kind of like a talk show or like a daytime show. It's like Oprah, but for surfing. Charles says Lost has a mid-length RNF coming out. No way in March. That's pretty sick. Wow, really? Charles, you got all the insight, huh? Charles is like on the insight. Yeah, I had no clue about that. I'm trying to look it up right now. I mean, it's just going to be like a super beefed up one. That's interesting because the RNF in theory is all about being small. I mean, what was it? 5x5, whatever the movie was called, with the RNF, when Corey Lopez and the other guy were surfing it, Chris Ward. Like the RNF's all about being small. It kind of helped push the revolution of small little fishes. But now they have to get on the mid-length train because that's what people want. And who is the most disposable income? Like surfers in their 40s and 50s, not the 20-year-olds riding the potato chips. So Mark says he's pretty obsessed with surfing. He's like a 48-year-old grommet. That's awesome. That's awesome. Right on, bro. With Miggsy too. Right on. My goal was achieved. Thank you for the participations. It's very nice. Very nice. The official sponsor, Charles Hawk. He wins. Now, you guys can still super chat if you feel pleased. I do appreciate the support. You just click this little money thing right there, then send me your shekels. It does go to a good cause because where I live, the rent is, well, spoiler alert, I live in like the most expensive city in America. So pretty much all my income goes to rent, and I'm not complaining because I get to live in one of the best surf places in America, in the world. And, you know, my setup's pretty nice. So it's, you know, it's better than a shoebox, and it's not as great as like a mansion, but it's somewhere in between. But it's all appreciated because it is, the cost of living in everywhere is hard, but especially where We are. Wait. We got Migsy cracking jokes. So Charles, thanks. He says, nice digging your videos. Thanks, man. I'm gonna keep them coming. I just gotta stay motivated to edit. You guys need to comment on my videos and be like, yo, get back to editing, because I go to edit and then something comes up and I can't edit the freaking video. And lately as well, because I want the videos to be like evergreen, aka like they last forever. And like, so I try to go the extra mile and add subtitles. And that part is a giant pain in the ASS. But when I look at the video afterwards, I'm like, all right, it was worth it. But adding subtitles, I think, is important. It's just a nightmare. And like I see that in the future having to do it, and it kind of like halts the whole process just because I hate editing the subtitles. Now I have a process that isn't like I'm typing in the thing the whole time, but it's still like I have to go sentence by sentence and kind of like spell check, and so it's better than it has been in the past, but it still kind of sucks. So the goal is not to put subtitles on every video. I just know when a subtitle is on like a video and it's like a good evergreen video, that will help it, prolong and keep going into the future. Because a lot of people, they'll be scrolling YouTube and the volume's off. And if subtitles pop up, just built-in captions pop up, you might sit there and start watching. And then before you know it, you're actually just reading along the video. There's no volume. But you wouldn't have done that if there wasn't built-in captions. So it's a good hack. It's a good social media hack. It just kind of takes a little bit of effort. But yeah, Mixie said, Charles Hawk, were you saying Hawk Tua move? Sorry, Charles, if you've already gotten the Hawk Tua joke too many times, but the poor Hawk Tua girl, she's probably making your life a living HE double hockey sticks. But yeah, Hawk Tua girl. I want to be like her. I mean, I don't want to have to do the things that she claimed she was doing, but I want to be infamous like her. Not for her things. Okay, now we're getting off the rails here. We're getting off the rails. Migsy says, dude, come to Oz. We'll look after you. I would love to come back to Oz. I mean, I've been to Australia twice, and it's my second home, I'd say. I lived on the Gold Coast, studied abroad at Bond University. Shout out Bond University. And then I lived on the Gold Coast again for another 4 to 6 months. Can't remember. So I've lived in Australia almost a year. And the Gold Coast in particular. So poor Charles Hawk says, yeah, he gets that a lot. Dang, she ruined it. There's some YouTuber I watch. I think his name's J Hawk. Yeah, his name's J period Hawk. So that poor guy gets it a lot too, because it's like Jahawk Tua. It's like kind of the same thing. So, but yeah, Australia is awesome. I'd love to come back. I mean, if I can, like, there's the girls there. I mean, I know we're all kind of going crazy these days, but when I was there was some girls I definitely fell in love with, and I should have just got married so I could have the dual citizenship thing going on. Kind of pull like a Uno reverse 90-day fiance type deal, because I would love to have a Australia permanent visa type deal, citizenship, dual citizenship. So Migsy saying the RNF mid sounds Kook City getting built. RNF mid sounds Kook City getting built. You think a lot of kooks are going to get the RNF mid? I could kind of see that. The RNF in the States right now is like super popular. It's probably the most popular board. I mean, what's funny though is like my friend had it and actually didn't like it, and he sold it. So to me, it looks like a pod mod, which like I think is one of the best shapes ever. And I never hear anyone being like, "Oh, I don't like the pod mod." But the RNF has a little bit of differences to it, where it is, maybe it's overhyped. Yeah, maybe it's overhyped. I've ridden one and it felt good, but like I got back on the mashup and the mashup did feel better. Makes you saying be happy. Mean gay. Minje. Minje. Come on, Gary. Yeah, Minji and Gary. They had a good roll. on the South Park episode. Yeah, Miggsy, you got Charles. You got our official channel sponsor, official live stream sponsor. Kind of, what's the word? Blushing. He's blushing. Macy says kooks here are spreading like wild rabbits. They're spreading like what's the mini kangaroo? There's that only in New Zealand. There's like a mini kangaroo. I forget what it's called. But yeah, like kangas. But yeah. So I guess the Twinzer. I mean, to me, it looks like it came out. You know, today. I mean, yesterday or something. But it could be already out in a bunch of the states and stuff. So, you know, if it's out for you guys, then like stoked. If it's out in other places, because I know other boards like in Hawaii, there was like somehow a board out before that happened. Before here. So yeah. So Maisie's saying, spell it out for me, Skippies. Oh wait, the kangaroo, the mini kangaroo, a wallaby maybe. That's what it is, a wallaby, I think. Yeah, wallabies, like little wallabies. They're pretty cool. They're like kind of like if a rat and a kangaroo had a little baby. Yeah, wallabies. Or skippies. What's a skippy? Let's see what that is. Oh, it's not popping up on my American internet. Yeah. But yeah, like, you know, if I was gonna say like if you should get the Twinzer, I would say if you like more of a stable ride, the long rider, I think actually is a little more of like a normal board. Where the Twinzer by Firewire, the TJ Twinzer, I think is gonna ride a little more like a longboard. But it's funny because like the long rider to me seems a little more high performance because the nose seems a little pointier and the tail seems a little more pulled in and pointier. And then the Twinzer seems like it's less pointy and it's more like kind of like even a Machado Cotto mixed with a like Sunday or something. See, it's funny because Firewire had it on their site. You have to like I have to go from my email. It won't let me go from Google, which makes me think that for some reason maybe they like halted the release or something. Or maybe there was a quick or it's early access. That's what it is. So it's still telling me early access, but maybe you can order it and maybe it does come out. You have to click. For me, I had to click from my email to get to the website. When I go to the website and search for the TJ Twinzer, it doesn't pop up. But yeah, but let's quickly go through. Oh, so Maisie has some more more to say. Oh, rabbits are a pest there. Okay. Oh, here. So Maisie says it has that C4 front fin that Russ used to put in his boards. Anyone remember that? Yes, Miggsy. At the beginning of the live stream, before you graced us with your presence, I was talking about that. That was one of my first. It was pretty much my first real surfboard. Was the Rusty? I think it was called the C5. If you type that in, the Rusty C5, and he kind of like invented that fin setup to, I think, for that board, and it's pretty much like the Twinzer with a back fin as well. And at the time, it did feel good, but like to me nowadays, like that's just too much fin to have on the board. I mean, it's like because those side fins, yeah, the C5, so the Rusty C5. I don't even know if it's still out or not, but if I have a picture of me in the snow People are saying 2022. People are asking if it was good or not. I remember being good, and what was cool about the C5 I had was it had two had like double cut in and then a swallow. So it had like the double indent and then the swallow. I think he called it like the rocket indent or something. But to me it felt he said, "Sorry C4, it's my old job." Okay, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it was a sick board, and I was still at a stage where like I probably, benefited from all that hold. And like I was in that stage where like the whole goal of the wave was to like ride down the line and pump. Like you didn't really do turns, you just kind of rode down the line and pumped. And the C5 was great for that. Yeah, Miggsy, you weren't here when I was talking about that. It was like pretty early on because I was trying to compare it to something. And I was saying like it's kind of like a Bonzer mixed with the twin fin, mixed with the rusty C5 thing that he did. Because rusty's pretty big in the area I'm in, and even the rusty shape to me is like held on more to the classic 90s, early 2000s shapes. Whereas like Firewire has kind of like jumped the gun and now they're full bore into the 2025 shapes of mid lengths and wide noses and like all twins. So, but yeah, I always prefer like, again, like you look at the Twinzer and you might be like, what if I want to ride as a thruster or just a twin? Now, it's always good to ride it as they recommended at first. And now I just want to talk a little bit too about the dims you get, because there's a couple different ones, and it's cool because like they're kind of keeping the same rhythm of. It only comes in helium too. They're not putting it out yet in the volcanic, which is interesting. But they have a 6.8, a 7.0, 7.2, and a 7.4. The 7.4 is 54 liters, which could be really sick for like you big boys. Because the Revo Max, I think 7.0 is 55 liters. So you get like a little more length, similar volume. And I think this will actually surf a little more normal than the Revo Max. Mixie said his buddy from Japan had it on his Rusty. I think it was the Piranha model or something. The fish swallowtail, 3 steps on the rail to turn easily. Yeah. The step in. Yeah. I had a few. Yeah. That's pretty much what the Piranha. I remember that thing. I think that board's still out now. Or I see that still. Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, actually, no, though. That the Rusty Piranha, this is 5-fin. But the C5 Rusty actually has the Twinzer setup and then the one back fin. The Piranha seems to me. Oh, yeah, it does have 3 wings. That's crazy. Wow, that's pretty cool. Interesting. I've never seen that before. And the 6.4 only has 34.9 liters. Yeah. So I think that's a 5-fin. So I don't think they're planning on you having 5 fins in there. I think it's either 3 or a quad. Oh, cool. So Charles is saying our official channel sponsor, Charles Hawk. Don't get him confused with the internet meme girl. He's a proper bloke who has no time for no shenanigans like that. He's saying that his favorite board is the Machado Creeper. It's one of Machado's first boards that he shaped for Firewire. Okay, I have to look that up real quick. Sounds kind of familiar, actually. Yeah, you're right. This was his first. Okay, yeah. This does look similar to, I mean, this kind of looks like a Sunday, and the specs are actually kind of like a Sunday too, except he kept it a lot smaller. Boardshop.co.uk has a review about it. I feel like I've still seen these around too, because it's kind of like taking the Greedy Beaver and mixing it with the Sunday. That board does look fun. What do you ride it as, Charles? Do you ride it? What fin setup do you ride it as? Yeah, exactly, Migsy. So it's around 2004 came out. It was super thin. Oh, you mean the Rusty Piranha? Yeah, it does look thin. You're right. The Rusty Piranha. I'm seeing it on boardcave.com still. But yeah, it's very thin, and it kind of looks like the board I was talking about, the Rusty C5 that I had back in the day. The Creeper looks awesome though. Like, that'd be a board that I would be super keen on. Oh, Migsy said he had the Creeper. And it was really fast, super flat on TimberTech. He still regrets that he sold it. Oh, I'm giving you a surprise face, Migsy. How could you do it? Who are you? Me? Who are you? Yeah, it's tough. I mean, selling the board that you're like, you kind of like, but no, it's, hindsight's like it's always, you never know until it's gone what you had. And on that tragic, sad note, let me grab my fake beer sponsor for the day. I'll be right back. Let you guys get over. Talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves. This is a professional show. You're professionals. So, am I in focus? There we go. So, besides Charles Hawk, the other sponsor of the show is Rational Ale. When you can't be drinking IPAs every day because your brain doesn't want that anymore, so you have to find your habit replacement that is essentially the same thing. It just doesn't have the drugs inside of it. It has less than 0.05, which I actually think they have to put that just because by process of making this, it could have a teeny bit, but it might not have any. So cheers, everyone. If you have a beverage, give it a crack. We're hitting the hour 30 mark. Hour 30 mark. You guys are doing it to me again. I was going to come on for like not that long, and here we are, and now I'm deep into overtime. We got 15 people watching, 15 of you viewers. Let me know where y'all are from. Please, any of y'all people, we'd love to know. And then also maybe where are you from? And then what kind of like videos would you like to see? I think the live streams are really cool. I mean, frankly, to me, what I love about the live stream is I get to interact with you guys, which is super fun. And the fact that it requires no editing is like an actual super blessing that I hit end stream and it's done. I don't have to go in and do any, it seems like it's like it actually makes it really awesome because editing is it's like it's your woe as a filmmaker. It doesn't matter if you even enjoy editing. It's just like very tedious. So what's great about live streams is you hit end and then it's done, and it's like you have a 3-hour video or a 2-hour video that doesn't need to be edited. The only issue is though it does have all your mistakes and stuff in the video, so you can go cut stuff out if you said a naughty word or don't want to get demonetized or something. But usually you're okay. And I think YouTube's actually up the ante where personally for me, when I used to do live streams, when I was like doing them a little more, I feel like the video would just go dead. But lately the live streams act as like a published video, whereas they pop up in search. It seems to be like it's just like a regular video. Whereas even like 2 years ago, it would kind of get buried and almost become like part of the live stream of YouTube. I think what YouTube realizes they're competing with Twitch, which just does live streaming. So why not like have the live streaming and then have your video still be searchable and still pop up? Because now people love live streams and love watching live streams. Oh, cool. Charles says he's in SD. Okay. There's a chance I could be there too, Charles. Mark says Sunshine Coast. Oh, the sunny. Oh, wait, Mark, were you the one that you're in Sunshine Coast? So is Noosa's in Sunshine Coast, right? Are you close to Noosa? I know Byron Bay is like kind of on the way there. Maisie saying, pro tip, alcoholic beer and sugars destroys his joints and gives him inflammation and lots of pain and stiffness. Same with wine, but my jokes get much mo better. Much mo better. True. It's similar to like I drive better HIGH or something. Yeah, like I make better art when I'm stoned. Yeah. But yeah, similar thing. I mean, I noticed as I've drunk less the last year or two from going to like, so quick side tangent. So like, it's nice to have a beverage, an alcoholic beverage at nighttime. And then it's easy to get in the loop of always having your alcoholic beverage at nighttime. So a year or two ago, I was like, all right, I want to kind of stop doing that. It seemed to be affecting my mood. And then like, it was hard. But now that I've actually gotten past that, and now I'll only drink, once every couple of days or for an occasion, but it's like, I'm way less sore, way less stiff every day, way less just random pains when you wake up. I'd have neck pains and just random pains. But now just because alcohol kind of acts as like an inflammation thing where it doesn't let your body actually rest, and then it just kind of builds up and doesn't let the muscles really recover. So it can make your body more sore for sure. And I've noticed like anecdotally, I'm a lot less sore every day waking up. I used to have more neck pain, more back pain, more pain from surfing, but the IPA afterwards would not let my body heal as much. So we got so Mark's saying, yeah, Noosa is right up at the top end. We're down at the southern end in Caloundra. Oh, nice. Okay. Sweet. Where is that? Well, I want to see where because I did a little bit of exploring the Sunshine Coast, but where did I go exactly? Because doesn't the Sunshine Coast start pretty much... Okay, yeah, I guess it is up there a little more than I remember. Okay. Yeah, no, that's cool. Okay. Oh, yeah, no. Oh, yeah, Sunshine Coast is right there. Okay. I was confusing it for something else. Yeah, where did I surf? Scarborough. Yeah, I mean, it gets a little tricky there, I think, because it's like a lot of more just beaches, right? It's not as many like white sand beaches that, could have good beach breaks and stuff, but it's, I think the Gold Coast takes a lot of the crowds even and just like the hype, and Sunshine gets a little less overrun by tourists, etc., that are just surfing because it's not as like industry known as Gold Coast. So Hank TWA features Baywatch. Oh, nice. Makes you stoked on your spot, Mark. Yeah, that is a nice little area for sure. Like, you're at the riff raft. Just beautiful. The weather is really nice. Yeah, Maisie says like a single mom. Yes, with the wine. Yeah, wine's fancy though. Wine's like not a drug. It's like a wine's like makes you smart and you're intellectual and enlightened if you drink wine. But yeah, for me, like not drinking as much, I definitely was helped by the fake beers and the sparkling waters. Like helped a lot because it's funny how you really fiend for that one beverage after the surf and the burrito, and it becomes a habit. And it's really hard to break your habits once you form them, especially when it involves a substance that your brain kind of withdraws from and then it wants. And you know, it's funny when you like you're like, oh, I can't like not drink this beer. Like it's like kind of a scary thing. You can see where alcoholism is a gnarly disease essentially because alcohol lies to you. It tells you, oh, it'll be different this time. Like it'll be okay. Like just have the drink. Like what's so wrong with that? Like you forget about, you know, the I'm never drinking again morning, and then by the next weekend your brain says, no, alcohol, it's fine. Like it won't be like that time. It's really a deceiving illicit, it's not illicit, a deceiving drug. And you can see maybe why they try to like prohibit it back in America back in the day. But like The Simpsons says, to all life's problems and solutions, right here. So it is a nice little treat we get to have in our lives. Mark's saying, yeah, Sunshine Coast, lots of beachies. Couple of points, but not as good as the Goldie. Yeah, I'd reckon. A few sneaky slabs, okay. It's a great place to live, but the Sunshine Coast is not as busy as the Gold Coast, for sure. In my more elder years, I could see myself enjoying it there more now. Like I love the Gold Coast, but like I feel like if I went there now, like I wouldn't really want to surf snapper, and I would just hopefully Deba is still manageable. Because when I was there, it actually was very manageable. Like for being such a world class epic wave, it was never too bad of a crowd, and you got tons of waves. And I would see Mick Fanning there all the time in his white truck, and the dog, and Dingo Morrison, and like it was. And Mick Fanning would surf D-Bob, I think more than Snapper. Just goes to show. And then if any of you guys have been blessed enough to surf Stradbroke Island, where B. Durbridge is from, you paddle, you basically go past Surfer's Paradise, and you go to, what was that place called? Where is it? It's some city kinda in right past Surfers, and you had to like park there. Oh god, I can't remember. It was like kind of like a city area. Started with like a C, I think. I can't remember. But you park essentially like at the end of like Coolangatta, and then you have to paddle across pretty much the sketchiest inlet known to man. There's a ferry that runs too, and you would pay him in the little Australian shekels. But the paddle to Stratty from, what is that area called? The area in I guess it's the end of Surfers. What was it called? I gotta remember because it was Southport. That's what it was, Southport. Yeah, so you go to Southport, it's like, it feels like you're in like an industrial area. Southport, good old Southport. So you go through Surfers and you get to Southport, and then you paddle across the inlet, and like the inlet's crazy because like there's like rocks to climb up, but there's a huge horizontal area of rock, and depending on the tide, like it would suck out and then fill back in, and you'd have to like traverse over like sometimes like 40 yards, or for you guys, metric, I'm not sure, but a good little bit, like, a quarter of a football field or a rugby pitch across like sketchy ass, like rock reef as water's coming in and out. And then once you get there, you have to climb up and over another thing of rocks, which wasn't even that hard. But I remember I would wear booties just for the paddle to Stratty from Southport, just to like survive the spit. Yeah, so Mark's saying the spit and it's sharky. Yeah, so let me catch up really quick. Well, I'll skip ahead because Mark's saying it's a sharky paddle from Southport to Stratty, and for sure it's like a breeding gnarly paddle shark area. And then it's getting up those rocks. It's so easy just to like kind of get sucked and then slammed on this horizontal rock before the jetty you have to climb over. So back then, which was 15 years ago, there was a guy with a ferry, and that was like one of his jobs. He would just literally bring surfers back and forth, and you had the little like $5 coin, the little gold $5 coin or something, and you give it to him. And you would definitely do that because the paddle is gnarly. And the sharks. Somehow we survived. No sharks ate us. Thank the good Lord, the good Aussie Lord. But yeah, and there's similar spots in America like that, but it'd be like you'd be going across the desert to the oasis. Like it was just a super fun wave. And like South Strat is cool because it's like kind of seems like you're on a deserted island. I mean, it's not really developed in that area. It's I mean, is that area even developed at all? I think it's actually maybe like a like a what's it called? Like it's kept away from building. You can't develop there. At least like on the main area before like the little river on the west of the actual beach. But it's pretty cool. It's a really cool area, and it's funny how it's like just one extra little golden goose surrounded by like a dozen other of the best waves in the world. One paddle I never did was the paddle from Deba to the Tweed Island, or the Tweed Heads, which like you're basically paddling from Queensland to New South Wales. I don't think I did that. Maybe one time, but the drive around there is actually kind of long, so it's sometimes you will, but that wave isn't like South Stratty. It's like kind of a whatever wave. But South Stratty is like a barrel fest. It's Deba on crack. It's just every wave is just barrel. The South Stratty is an awesome wave. Oh, nice. So Mark's saying he remembers that the ferry guy, or like the boat guy, but he was a grommet and too tight to pay the $5. Yeah, I think it was $5. Yeah. Wouldn't dream of paddling it nowadays. Couldn't hand over the 5 quickly enough now. Yeah, true. Wow. So do. Oh. Yeah, Mark. So do people? Is that like actually pretty taboo to paddle it? Like no one really paddles it anymore, or will people still paddle it? Because I remember it was pretty much like half and half. People would paddle, but that boat guy was usually around. Yeah, I'll never forget it. It'd be like hot as crap. You'd have board shorts on. You'd have board shorts and like, 3mm booties. Like I didn't have any reef booties, so I would just wear my 3mm high top booties, paddle over there. I didn't care how much of a kook I looked like, because those things saved my arse climbing up that damn jetty. It's because we have a jetty in North Carolina, kind of where I'm from, that's kind of similar. You paddle across an inlet. It's a tiger shark breeding ground, so it's pretty similar. But the jetty isn't like as gnarly. And there's actually, it's called Masonboro Island. It's in Wilmington, North Carolina. And that island's sick because it's actually not developed at all, like for sure. It's a like national it's not a park, but it's like an undeveloped island that has nothing on it except the beach. And those waves are the same, whereas big northeast swells where it's a crapshoot everywhere on in Wilmington and Wrightsville Beach. Their northeast winds somehow the island was shaped differently, whereas offshore. So it'd be really sick because it'd be like head to overhead, crappy, blown out northeast day, but then you paddle to Mason Bro, and it's like head high, overhead, going off. So it kind of wasn't even like Stratty because it was more so like a correction of the northeast crappy wind swell, and it you go to Mason Bro and it'd be like going off, best waves ever, like barreling, like kind of like a mini Stratty. So that was my saving grace in college, was paddling the Mason Bro. So luckily I was already pretty good at the paddle, but it wasn't nowhere near as death defying as the South Stratty paddle. That paddle, you could easily die. Like you go to paddle up the rock and just get pushed over and just smack your head on one of the little rocks. And the reef, it was sharp. Now I'm remembering it was really sharp. All those rocks had all little barnacles. You put your hand on it, you like slice your hand open. So and South Stratty's sharky. I mean, Australia's sharky. So you go to South Stratty, you cut your foot open, and then you go surf for 2 hours with your foot bleeding. It's like this funny little barrier to entry of the jetty. So I guess thank God for it. One time I do have a story. One time I went with my friends, and for some reason my friend left me. I don't know why. And we had a car, and he like brought the car. I was like, I'm still butthurt about it. So I had to take the bus from Southport to Robina, which that's where Bond University is. And I remember I had like my surfboard, like my board shorts, and luckily I had some gold shekels to get on the bus. But yeah, he did me dirty. Because back in the day, I would like surf longer than anyone. I was just kind of like a madman. Still kind of am, but I've toned it down a bunch. But yeah, I just kept surfing, and then he left, and then he took the car. And I was like, well, this is like before cell phones. I mean, maybe I had a Nokia phone. But like, yeah, I could have easily just died at Stratty and like my friend. So thanks, Andy. Calling you out, Andy. Thank you. I'll never forget. Never forget. So don't leave your friends stranded at a sketchy island break and they have no way to get back. But luckily I took the awesome Gold Coast bus system right to Robina, right back to Bond Uni. So but yeah, guys, we're getting to the hour and 45 here. We've kind of went through a good bit about the Twinzer. I don't know if anyone has any other topics you want to chime in on. I did want to kind of compare it a little more to the Long Rider, because I think for you folks, the Long Rider, like to me, seems like a safer bet. More of a classic shape. Very similar. I mean, to me, it looks like has the Long Rider has a slightly more pulled in nose and tail, and it's a teeny bit more pointier. The TJ Twinzer I could see riding a little more glidey and more like a longboard, just because it has Taylor Jensen's name attached to it. But the Long Rider, does it come in helium or just helium too? It's definitely different. It's different enough, or it's not like the same board that they just changed the fins in it, because it's a couple liters different. The fin positioning is also kind of different, so you're not going to get the true twin feel on the Long Rider. The 2+1 setup's going to work better, and because through the grapevine, I reckon they are moving away from the Sunday, so the Sunday is going to be discontinued. I didn't say that. I just kind of have a feeling, and you see a little less. I have a little bit of a behind the scenes on there, but hopefully not. Maybe they'll keep it around, but it seems like the the Jensen Twinzer could be kind of the new Sunday, or maybe the better bet. Because as you see with the Twinzer, it only goes down to 6'8". Sunday, they tried to have it kind of more like the Revo Max, where I actually rode a 6.0 Sunday in Venice a month ago. And it had, did it have just a twin fin? I think it had a little nub in there. I can't remember. But it definitely had, it was for sure like very skatey and pretty crazy. So for being 38 liters and a 6.0, the Sunday did not ride how I thought it was going to ride at all. It rode kind of like the Two Fish, but with less float. Even though it's the same volume, it gets too thin at the tail and nose. And I don't mean thin thickness wise with two C's. I mean thin 6 inches down and up from the bottom and the tail and the nose. It gets kind of pulled in a little too much. So as you go to the smaller sizes of the Sunday, I think you lose some of the Sunday magic because it's trying to kind of be two things. It's trying to be any board that goes from 6.0 to 7.3. I think it's going to, as opposed to be like an expert, it's going to be like a jack of all trades and master of none. But I think in the volcanic, and I think if you had a bigger Sunday, I mean, my one friend has the 7.0 Sunday, and he's a good surfer. And the 7.0 Sunday is 54 liters, so it's a beast. But he's a bigger guy, and he really likes the Sunday. So I think there's still a market for the bigger Sundays, but you know, now they're coming out with these other mid-lengths, whereas maybe they'll just, you know, keep Rob's Seaside and his other kind of more fishier boards and just kind of move past that. But I think the Twinzer is like, it would be my preferred pick out of the newer mid-lengths, just because I do like the twin fin. Now, I wonder how it rides without the little side bites. That's one thing that'd be fun to see and test. We'll see. Maybe I'll get my hands on it. If I did, I probably would go 6.8 and try to experiment and not run into the Seaside and Beyond problem with the 7 foot. And kind of get some of that foot kicking on the giant swallow. Yeah, Mark, I can see what you mean though. Like when you're Grom and you're 2, you don't want to spend the little gold coin. You're like, I don't want to spend that. So I agree. It is like kind of a lot to ask when you don't feel like doing that. But yeah, sorry guys, my chat wasn't popping up on my thing, so I need to look on my phone. I don't know why it's not popping up. Give me one sec. Why isn't this working? Yeah, my chat's not. I gotta answer y'all on my phone because the chat's not. Something's wrong on my thing. So I'm gonna answer on your phone. So, Mark was saying. So Mark's saying that now when you go to Stratty, it looks like a jet ski car park out behind the break. Oh wow, interesting. Okay. Oh, so people just park their car and take jet skis out there. Okay, it's kind of sweet. Yeah, if I remember correctly now, people would sometimes just take boats and park them out there and yeah, then paddle in. Yeah, that's what they would do. That's cool. Mark says, North Carolina, is that where the Outer Banks are? Have you seen videos from there that look unreal? Yes, Mark. Mark, so spoiler alert, I'm from Virginia Beach, which is a 2 I'll be on my live chat's broken. Is a 2 hour drive, 2 to 3 hour drive from Outer Banks. So I grew up surfing Outer Banks all the time, and that's our saving grace in on the East Coast. The whole East Coast, it's like probably the best wave. I mean, there's some great waves in Jersey and New York, but like that's the best barely South Stratty wave. And yes, there's some world class waves there, and I mean that's where like Brett Barley lives and a bunch of I think Corey Lopez might live there, but I think he lives in Florida. But yeah, Outer Banks is awesome. That's where Cape Hatteras is, and that's where the famous S turns wave was. So there's a wave called S turns, which is no more, but that's where they filmed Nights in Rodanthe. So Nights in Rodanthe is a town in Outer Banks, and the amazing movie with Richard Gere and Julia, who's in Nights in Rodanthe? Diane Keaton? No, not Diane Keaton. Richard Gere and Diane Lane. Diane Lane, yeah, she's amazing. She's kind of a mega hottie. Yeah, so Nights in Rodanthe is cool because they film it at this house that was this famous house that we would all like use as a marker, where like this sick left was this left-hand barrel, which was like one of the best barrels in all of Outer Banks, and it'd be the spot we'd all charge when like the waves were pumping. And the house actually is no more because a lot of the Hatteras houses they build like right on the sand, so any day it can just like get washed away, and that one did get washed away eventually. So um it's actually a really cool movie just because you get to see all the scenes of that area, and it's a really beautiful, cool area for sure. Um, so Mizzy saying I'm describing the dating scene in Australia as well. Yeah, y'all. I mean, I thought we were toast. Y'all are toasted too. We're all toasted, but I mean, this basically at this point, like if you guys have watched Black Mirror, there's an episode where the guy has to ride the bike. That's what everyone does is they ride the bike, and then he like gets the amount of coins for the girl to go on the talk show, but then she blows it and has to become a prawn star. That's where we're heading, I think, where essentially you have to be a wage slave, aka ride the bike, a celebrity, aka YouTuber, or a prawn star, aka OnlyFans. So I'm trying to go for the celebrity thing because to me it's like the least of all the evils. Um, but that's kind of like the dating scene's very similar in America and Australia. I mean, all the channels that talk about dating stuff, it's like kind of turning into a shit show. But um, you know, maybe you guys are like good and you're happily married, or maybe you got whatever. But like, yeah, I feel pretty bad for like the Gen Z or whatever, like the younger, super young generation who's only had the phone, because you're not gonna ever get to experience the times without the phone, and it kind of ruined relationships, the internet. But yeah, so Miggsy's saying my description spot on, sir. Kook's opinion in his 50s here. Bear in mind. Miggsy, you're not a kook. Maisie, with that quiver, you at least got to be able to. You're at least shredding a little bit with that quiver. My live chat's broken on here. I got to use the phone. Miggsy, you shred. Yeah, and so Charles saying I'm spot on about the nose and tail on the long rider. Okay. Yeah. Do you have the long rider? Charles? I don't know why my live chat isn't. Let me reload it. It's just jammed. I don't want to mess with it. Because I've seen the long rider. I've never ridden one. There's a chance I could ride that too. but I think that it is a little more of a. Oh, my live stream's actually stalled too on my thing. Can't even see how long I'm going. All right, we'll just keep going here. Hopefully it doesn't blow up. If I can even hit end. Well, we'll keep going. We'll keep going. So can I hit end on here? No. So Migsy's saying the ferry guy probably has a jet ski rent dealership by now. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was busy whenever I saw him. I mean, there were some days when you didn't see him, and you're like, "Oh, am I gonna wait for him or just charge?" And it was kind of hard because you had to like plan to have money in your pocket while you were surfing or something. So, and the way back wasn't as gnarly because the rocks to climb back up aren't as bad as the rocks to get to South Stratty. Migsy's saying he thinks his qualifications trade will get him a third place. Third place. Hey, you're on the board. You're on the board. That's all that matters. You're on the board, Migsy. Let me see if I open up my my other YouTube here because I'm having a tiny bit of technical difficulties. I just want to see what happens if I. Oh, it just shows me. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm still live, luckily, and it's still working. So, yeah, we'll keep going for a little bit here. I've been on for 2 hours. We just hit the 2 hour mark. So, all right, guys. If you have anything else you want to chime in about, because we just hit the 2 hour mark, and my voice is officially getting there. But also, I was supposed to be editing the two fish fin comparison review right now. And because I don't want to start editing, I instead hit go live. And I just saw that this board came out. So I was like, well, this is a pretty pertinent, fun thing to talk about. So I'm going to have a go with it. Migsy saying he means prawns. Migsy means Prawn Star Senior category. Oh, that's good. Have to have a search in your search history, Minji. See, you're typing in what you're typing in there. What you're typing in. Charles was born in 1982. He remembers life without the internet. Agreed, Charles. I'm 5 years younger than you. And yep, it was a simpler time. It was the life of well, I guess MapQuest was on the internet, but yeah. I remember I got dial-up internet in high school, and I grew up kind of middle class poory. So like we got like I barely had. I think I got my first laptop going to college. Oh, I can't remember, but like we barely had cable. Like I pretty much had Fox, the 5 main stations, no cable, and pretty much was introduced to the internet / more than Fox and ABC in like college. So it was good. It made me not very spoiled. Yeah, Migsy. So Migsy ended up getting Machado Kata, right, Migsy? You were saying that? Did you find that used one? Migsy's old. Yep, 1974. Or no, what's the new word? I'm being ageist. Yeah, Migsy, what size Machado Kata did you get? Did you say you got a 6'2"? If I heard that right? Because I'm still on the prowl for a 5'10". And Charles, do you have a long rider? The official sponsor of the live stream, Charles Hawk. Not to be confused with Hawk to a Girl. No relation. Yeah, Migsy saying he did get one. Wow. That was fast, too, because I remember you were talking about that, and then you ended up getting one. Oh, Migsy beat Mark by 2 years, 1976. That's awesome. I'm like the young gun here. Wow, so our local celebrity Migsy got a 6'2 Machado Cotto. That's awesome, dude. And so, have you ridden it yet, Migsy? I can't remember. You said you haven't ridden it. You haven't ridden it yet. I mean, I would love to ride that board. The 6'2 is big, but I could ride that for sure. You can almost ride the 6'2, or I could with like a true twin, and then that could be pretty cool. Because I heard the Mike Raven, I think, has ridden it as a true twin. He was saying that he kind of likes it. Like it is skatey and kind of crazy, but out of all the mashup and those boards, the Machado Cotto performs okay as a twin fin. But I think at the end of the day, though, you'd always prefer a little back fin, a little trailer to have in there. It just makes more sense for sure. So Migsy's saying representing at Mark. Oh yeah, his poor knee's still messed up thanks to the stupid Revo Max. That sucks, man. Understandable. Keep the witchcraft going to get better. Cause yeah, since I sold the Seaside and Beyond, I'm creating a space, and I need to figure out if I'm gonna get the 6'3 Revo Max, 5'10 Machado Cotto, 5'10 Sweet Potato, or maybe the two fish. The two fish actually starting to grow on me for sure. It's just really fast, and the review is going to be cool because I have a bunch of sessions on it, and the editing for me is taking a while too because I kind of overdid it. The fin comparison really upped the ante, and I have just so much footage, and I don't like to not include a lot of footage, so I am just sifting through footage. But I have like a lot of nice B-roll, a lot of great surfing, and it's a very reliable board. Like when it's small, the two fish works good. When it gets a little bigger, as long as it's not above like 6 foot, it's still good. And just the ease of the turns are amazing. And you don't have to work the board that hard. It's really nice because you're just like, it's kind of like the Machado Cotto. You just don't have to work as hard to top turn. It like turns itself. So Migsy's gonna put an extra fin box on his Revo Max, which I think is a great idea. Migsy, and if you can tell us, Migsy, what do you do for a living? Because you're Richie Rich, dude. Like, that's awesome. My dreams to be as wealthy as you, because you're buying boards left and right, and that's awesome. And my goal is to, I guess, be a rich YouTube celebrity. Yeah, it's a shallow goal, but I don't want to be the bike rider or the prawn star because they don't look very fun on that Black Mirror episode. You would think maybe the prawn star would be cool, but it doesn't look very glamorous at all. If you guys haven't watched it, it's a really great episode. It was the first season. Black Mirror bike episode. Yeah, 15 million merits. Came out 15 years ago. Yeah, in a world where everyone consists of riding on bicycles to gain credits, and then you go on this you go on this competition show, kind of like America's Got Talent or something, and then either you succeed and you get to have like your own show, or you have to be a prawn star, or you have to be another bike rider. But it's one of the best. Yeah, season 1, episode 2 is this Black Mirror episode. This is the second episode. And if y'all have seen the first episode of Black Mirror with the pig, I don't have to really say much more because that episode like started off with a bang. So Migsy's saying he's gonna try the Revo Max with Tomo fins. Okay. Oh, nice. Migsy's no wife, no kids, dude. 100%. More money. Hey, more money, less problems. Well, Migsy, we'll see. I could be on my way to that life as well. We shall see. But hey, I mean, it's not easy for men to kind of see through. I don't want to say like the Matrix, but just to see through, like, to find purpose beyond that is challenging, especially when you're looking for purpose. It's like, well, your purpose is given to you. This is what you should do. It's like, well, maybe it'll get too late and you realize, oh, maybe this wasn't my purpose. Maybe it was. But if a lot of times, if you're not like actualizing your own plan, you're actualizing someone else's plan. So it goes to show why, like, a lot of guys, I think, have trouble finding purpose because, like, how and why are they going to have purpose unless it is to, like, have the family. So and especially now as we become more individualized with the internet and just how the world's kind of changing, it's and as like the sexes kind of, I think, drift further apart, and the battle like ramps up. I mean, if you look at the statistics, it's like less people get married, less people have kids. The newest stat on like guys singleness is pretty out of control. Like around 60% of guys under 30 are single. In America, I believe, from one of the latest statistics, which is pretty insane. And compared to women, only 30-ish% are single. So you're like, well, how does that work out? Well, sometimes the top echelon guy could get more girls or just gets more attention, and girls will naturally kind of get some more attention just because of males' drive. So it's kind of interesting how, with the knowledge and just where we're going, is bottom line, like, as a guy, you just try to have to get your kind of like the lust under control, or at least have your purpose be your defining factor, and that involves kids and family. That's cool, but like, once you make that your defining purpose, you lose some of who you are, and that's how guys can kind of end up. That's why the divorce rate's kind of high. I mean, it's that stuff's super interesting to me. And I think it's, as the internet grows and we learn more, it's only going to become more individualistic, us as people, especially in a place like America and Australia, where it's pretty individualized, that the like group community is not like it was, even 40 years ago. Migsy lives in a small place by the beach, and he's always, his quiver's in a storage building. Oh no, yeah, and your poor dog passed away. I'm really sorry about that again. Oh, but now he's in his 50s and you're happy as ever, honestly. Wow. That's awesome, man. I'm really happy for you, dude. And like, I mean, that's kind of my goal. I mean, we'll see what happens, but like, I'm lucky where I started making movies when I was, really young. And like, for me, it still feels like I'm on my purpose and I do this stuff, and like, it feels like I'm still just, not that I'm getting started, but it's very natural. It's a very natural thing for me to just make the movies and do the thing, rinse and repeat. Like, I don't feel like I should be doing something else right now, which is not easy. A lot of people, live lives of quiet desperation, as Walden said, but not Migsy. Not Migsy. Yeah, we're really sorry, Migsy. You're my new idol, though. You and my dad, because my dad, like, so shout out my dad. Like, he taught me to surf, and growing up, like, we were pretty middle class, but now my dad is like rich and like does whatever he wants and is retired, and he had to go through a lot to get there. And it's cool to like see him like now he's probably the most happiest of his whole life, like you were saying, Migsy. And he's in his 70s, and we go skiing, and he's super active and super fit, and I'm super blessed to have him. Um, but it goes to show like you just got to keep grinding and keep doing like your thing, and like he built this stuff up, and now he's the happiest, richest, best person ever that he could be. And who would have thought that would happen in like that second, third part of your life when you think that the youth is like the time to really be your happiest. But especially for I think men and women, it's like almost a like men kind of start here, your life kind of sucks. Women, their lives are kind of sweet, and then it's like you almost kind of flip flop. And as long as the guy like doesn't blow it too hard, like you keep building. And same with the girl, but like they just have a little bit more of a natural, I think, value at the beginning, just because they're desired and wanted by guys. It's easy to be a guy and to feel like no one cares about me, no one wants me, like. But the sooner you start even asking those questions as a guy, the better. Because if you don't ask those questions, you're gonna wake up one day, live in someone else's plan, and be like, "Who am I anymore? I have no clue I am." So that stuff's really interesting to me. Oh, nice. So Mark's the other opposite of the spectrum. He's got wife and 4 kids. So all of his boards come on the secondhand market. He loves those kids, but they are very expensive. True. I mean, yeah, you'll rarely hear a parents be like, "Yeah, my kids suck." I mean, unless the kid like becomes a criminal or something. It's like it's some weird thing that switch flips. You're like, "Oh, I gotta keep this thing alive." And yeah, a lot of people almost even find purpose with kids. Like I think a lot of like criminal people have a kid, and then that gives them purpose. And before that, they were lost, they didn't know what to do, and now the kid is like a good vessel to like direct purpose and a reason to have purpose. Without the kid, there's no accountability. It's like, well, who cares what I do? Like I'm not, no one else is here, so it's like there's pros and cons to each scenario for sure. So Migsy's a class act. He doesn't do no smoke, no drink, no gamble, none of that pot, no drugs, no vapes. Damn, Migsy, you make me feel bad with my vapes. No drugs, no medications. He's got all the monies, plenty of time. Oh no, both his parents passed away when he was younger. Oh geez, and his grandparents on the same time. Super sorry to hear that, man. So you've been like on your own for a while, dude. That's heavy, man. That's crazy. Well, you're a great person, man. So like you're crushing it, and like yeah, I don't have my mom anymore, and it's definitely tough. Like and like I'm super grateful to have my dad because like yeah, losing both parents can be pretty crazy. Um, so yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Sorry to hear that. It's boring. Yeah, it is boring. Yeah, it's like boring's good though. Boring's good. Boring's good. Because what could happen, Migsy's could be married, and then the wife could be bored, and then she might not be happy, and then you're done. You're done. Nice. So Mark doesn't smoke or drink neither. Man, you guys are outstanding citizens. Yeah, when you tell people in Australia you don't drink, they look at you funny, like you have to explain yourself. For sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's how it is in America too. Let me make sure my camera isn't gonna blow up here. Oh, we're good. We're good. We're good. This is how you focus. Focus. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, no, Mark, it's interesting. Like, it's for sure. I mean, Australia is probably even worse just because there's a funny, like, tradie culture of like tradies drinking beers after their construction job. and it's even more ingrained in the culture. But America, for sure, same thing. Like if you don't drink, there's something wrong with you. Um, and a lot of people that don't drink are, you know, recovering alcoholics, etc. But like for me, like when I haven't been drinking the much the last couple of years, like yeah, even explaining to someone, a lot of people will just hide it. They'll just pretend to drink just because the explanation sounds like something's wrong with you. Agree, fully agree. So Migsy's saying, dang, Migsy, you've had a crazy life. Migsy used to live on them streets with his mom and had to beg for money as a 5-year-old in South America. He's grateful and now his life's amazing. Dang, brother. That's crazy, dude. Yeah, give you some hearts. Well, there you go, man. Congrats, dude. Now you're killing it. You know, you're doing your thing. Took you a while to have to suffer through all that stuff. But, like, yeah, that sucks, man. Really sorry to deal with that. Like, my goal is always to, like, try and not be homeless. Like, I live in an area where it's pretty prevalent. It's not hard to become homeless. I mean, mess up once or twice, um, easily become homeless. It's like, and then you really realize that no one cares. No one cares about you, especially if your parents passed away. It's like those are the last people that like truly kind of cared. And once they're gone, it's like wow, now I'm like 100% on my own. Like without my dad, I'd be homeless for sure. I'd 100% be homeless. I mean, maybe I wouldn't be. Maybe I'd have to like do what I have to do. But like, I'm super grateful because my dad's like, you know, parents will help their kids when they need, and I try not to take advantage of that because, yeah, he'll always be there for me, and I'm super grateful to have a dad who's like pushes me. Like he loves the YouTube stuff. He loves the surfing. I mean, he taught me to surf. He wants me to make these videos. He's always liking the video. It's like having a support system as opposed to someone that's like, what are the stupid videos you're making that no one's gonna watch? You know, it's a lot for sure. So I'm super grateful to have like support there. Because when you're a YouTuber until you become Mr. Beast, no one cares and no one's gonna record the video for you. No one's gonna hit record, no one's gonna set up the lights and the camera and make sure you don't have any pimples. Like it's all you. So unless you have like a team or a teammate, it's all you. So any support is super, super appreciated. Yeah, Migsy, you're a true legend, man. Like that is some you could have like write a novel about your past life. That's really impressive, dude. Yeah, Maisy's saying he's sorry about his sad story. Don't be sorry. I'm super happy that you said it, and it's really interesting, man. Like I'm a big underdog person. Like if you strife and tribulation makes you stronger, makes you have to go through that ish, and the suffering sucks. But on the other side is like you kind of learn stuff you didn't know you had to learn. Um, yeah, he's saying that the big guy up there, karma will pay you back. He's got to respect. Don't expect anything in return and just keep giving. Yeah, I agree. Like, it's hard to not expect. I used to deal with that a lot, being like, well, I'm a good person. Like, shouldn't good things happen to good people? Well, not really. I mean, my mom was the best person ever, and life did her dirty in the end. So that was a super big wake up call for me to be like how I took me a long time to be like, how did life like screw over someone so amazing? So it's funny how your righteousness does have nothing to do with like your circumstances sometimes, but kind of how you prevail. Um, I know DMX or even Jesus was like, to survive is to suffer, but somehow to find meaning in the suffering, that's like the real truth there. But it's really hard. I still don't understand how to find meaning, but it's usually a retrospective look back. Oh, I had to suffer through that to learn this. Oh, for sure, Migsy. Yeah, thanks, dude. I know it's pretty crazy. Like we're building this crazy thing. We got 12 people watching. We've been going for 2 hours, 20 minutes. My voice is kind of still there. We have 12 people watching. So it's pretty amazing. Let me grab a quick drink, guys. We might have to wrap it up here because my voice is still going. I got to eat the dinner. And I still got to edit this freaking two fish video. I hate editing. If anyone wants to become an editor, that'd be awesome. Because, all right, another more addiction filling. Migs, you got to be addicted to something, though, like sparkling water or something. Yeah, because I have. So, videos dropping soon are the two fish fin comparison, which is going to be awesome. Two fish review is going to be awesome, too. And then my sweet potato review, which got pushed back a little bit, but that's still in the mix. I'm just waiting to see if I can get a 5.8 to try and kind of do like a 5.8 and 5.10. But I'm behind on the editing, but I'm still glad I did tonight's live stream because I was supposed to edit. I said, oh, there's some hot news in the surfboard world. This TJ Twinzer. And then our boy, sponsor of the freaking episode, Charles Hawk, dropped a BOMB. And now I'm like ready to go get that foamy latte tomorrow, Mark. So thank you again. Or sorry, not Mark. Well, thank you to Mark, but Hawk, Charles. Thank you, Charles, but also thank you, Mark. Thank you, Charles, for those Aussie. Well, you're from SD, yeah. Those American bucks to this Seppo. You're welcome, Migsy. I'm happy to be doing this, and we got to just keep it going. The goal is to keep doing live streams, and I like when they devolve into this because the surf talk is great, but like just other talking is fun too. And once we evolve into like the chat and real time communication, it's cool because it's like we're from all over the world and you get to like in real time interact with people. So Migsy's addicted to gelato, so he's got one addiction. That's good. I'm addicted to chocolate covered raisins and then Greek yogurt lately. But Migsy owes everything to Australia and he wants to give back, but it's just not easy in 2025 because cost of living is nutso now. Agreed. But I want to give a quick another shout out because there's a new channel that's emerged that I think is doing a good job, and you guys have maybe seen it. I think it's called the Surf Tech channel. And it's a guy in New Jersey. He's a cool guy, and they're doing some great little reviews on just like board tech and board comparisons, kind of like this, but he's putting in the work for sure with surf footage. And so I think it's another fun addition to your YouTube. You're addicted to YouTube as well, Migsy, to your YouTube channels you can binge. And then Tommy Surfs put out a really cool video about the Palm Springs Surf Club and what he thought about and his experience. And it was really cool because there's not a lot of like people that are given like a play-by-play aspect of like how the wave pools work. You just kind of see a highlight reel, but he goes through like how you book the session online and then what happens when you show up and then how the waves surf, which one he prefers. And I thought it was cool because Surf Park Nerd is another one of my boys who does just surf park content, but I think it's cool when you're kind of given like a vlog / spot check / how you actually do it. Because, I want to go surf Waco, and then, like, a guide, I guess, is the right word. A nice guide. All right, guys, we were just hitting 2 hours and 30 minutes. Miggsy used to drink French champagne with fancy dates and girls. That was a problem because he was young. Dang, yeah, you gotta, yeah. If you're super young drinking the booze, that can be kind of gnarly. Oh wow. Thanks, Miggsy. So he's seen them guys, them good guys as well. But my format and editing shows, brother. Thanks, Miggsy. I do try to put in the extra effort, and I'm glad it shows. I think that I can luckily, like, just my background in filmmaking lets me kind of up the ante, and I like making the show look good, like the background blur. That's a blurry background right there. That's out of focus, blurry. It's cinematic. This is what you learn in film school. I have a very zoomed in lens and a blurry background, so it looks like I'm in a movie scene, which makes it more pleasing to our eyes because our eyes actually see like this. Look at something close, the background's going to be blurry. We don't see in like a GoPro mass focus. We see in little bits of focus. And that's why cinema is so great. So Mark's saying, Mark's got a cruise. Mark says he has to head out, lads. Wind has gone offshore. Looks like an Arvo glass off. You're stoked. Thanks for hosting these, Travis. Always excited when I can catch one of these live. That's awesome, Mark. Really appreciate it, man. And yeah, the Arvo glass off does sound amazing. Today was actually the smallest surf I've surfed in a while, but luckily it was still fun. And we have howling Santa Anas, if you've seen the news. Fortunately with the fires, but the Santa Ana's mean. It's howling offshore winds, which you think, hey, good, but it's not good when it does this as well. So thank you, Mark. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good one. I'm probably going to end the stream here soon. We have 12 people watching. I really appreciate all y'all. But and if you can smash the like, if you're in here before you head out, it's much appreciated. The algorithm enjoys it, New Jersey's it. But I'm probably gonna head out here in a sec. If anyone has any other things they'd like to chime in, my screen has been like stalled out for a while. I'm hoping when I hit end, it actually lets me end. We'll see what happens here. But it's been an awesome stream, guys. Like sometimes these streams, sometimes they go good, sometimes they go bad, sometimes people show up, sometimes they don't. But it's usually the one where I'm like, this is gonna be like a quick throwaway one. Like this is a cool topic. I'll talk 30 minutes to 45 minutes on this, and that'll be it. But a lot of times these are the ones that end up like being really cool and really long and really engaging and communicative with all y'all and me. We can kind of have a nice fun dialogue, which is awesome. Like this is really cool to have like a nice community. We can all come together, yap it up. And I'm going to do my best to keep editing. Please, when you guys go in the comments in the videos and like, say cool and great and Miggsy, I see you a bunch in there. Thank you so much, man. It's really nice and I really appreciate that of you. Like that keeps me going. That keeps me motivated. So, we are seeing the circle. Oh, we're back. We saw the circle of death for a second there, but now we're back. I just want to see if that actually got on the recording or not. I'll see you later. But my live stream is completely about to blow up now. So if anyone has any other things they want to chime in with, now is your time. Smash the like I said on the way out. Let me know if there's any other topics you guys want in future videos. Shout out again to our live stream sponsor for this episode, Charles Hawk. You are the man. Thanks, Miggsy, per usual. Much appreciate you, dude. We had a great chat, and I'm stoked to hear more of your life story, and really inspirational. Gives me some hope there. Just keep doing my thing. Keeping on. Mark, appreciate you guys as well. And I think that's it. So, thanks again to everyone for tuning in to another Hero's Journey live stream. We out of here. Till next time. Peace.